Where them brands at? Oh, my bad. What's up, family? How you doing? It's your boy MJ, and she is.
Lady Des.
Welcome to another edition of Conversations with them two, the Shenanigan crew, and we are super excited because tonight we round out National Women's Month, and tonight we
Absolutely.
have a phenomenal guest, none other than Miss Rhonda McFadden. Take it away, Des.
Hello.
Yes, Rhonda, thank you so much for joining us on the last day of the month, which we're, like MJ said, rounding National Women's Month. And all month long, we have been recognizing women all over the United States, all over this country, for what they do. And these are women that you may not hear about on social media. You may not see them on TV or radio, but they are doing phenomenal things in their community, in their family, in their churches. And they're like our unsung heroes. And these are the people, or these are the women that we wanted to highlight and bring so much attention to let them know you're not forgotten. We see you, and we thank you for what you're doing. We thank you for impacting lives. We thank you for touching so many people. And listen, you fell on our hearts and our minds, and MJ said, go for it. So thank you so much for being here tonight. And let me add, you are from my parents' hometown. So, well, you stay in my parents' hometown. So this makes it even more special. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Des, before we talk about her being from your parents' hometown, let's talk about them shoulders.
Wait, hold on. What's wrong with my shoulders, MJ?
What's wrong with your shoulders, MJ?
That is not of the Pentecost.
What is it of?
That's whirl.
That's really?
All
it's just
day.
We're in Miami, and as you can see,
it's raining. It is raining. It's not hot.
Well, it is. It's a little humid. So I decided I usually wear a jacket. But tonight I chose not to, because it's a little bit more warmer. And as you can see, my skin is glittering because I have a little more. Where's my fan?
Okay, that's enough. Let's get back to the guests, because now you're glittering. Jesus.
So, and you shouldn't be like that on Women's Month. So, well, before we get to Rhonda, MJ, we just want to pretty much highlight, I know that you have some phenomenal and special women that you want to recognize and just speak briefly about, and so do I. And so I'll let you go first, and then we'll have this discussion as well with Rhonda, because I know that, and I know a little bit of her story and her background a little. So I know that she had phenomenal women, and one especially that has really impacted her life, that got her on the trail where she's going right now. And she is also carrying a legacy. So we'll hear her story a little later, but I want you to talk about those women that have impacted your life.
Wow. When we talk about women impacting my life, there have been many. To those that have passed on, my mom, my aunts have made a big impact, and those that are still here. I have two phenomenal sisters that are definitely MJ supporters. If there's anything going on MJ, they are definitely there to support. And then I do have a cousin, Anita Hill, who is right now in Dublin, Georgia, and she is definitely right now my number one fan. So right or wrong, she's always there for me. She does scream MJ louder than anybody else, and she's gonna beat me to the award shows. And there are a lot of educators too, females that have made impacts in my life. Lady G, Glenda Foster. She was somebody who taught me when I was in fourth grade. She called me one day after we reconnected and she said, I always wanted to do radio. So I told her, come on down. And I gave her the mic just like that. And that was just me being able to give back. You taught me so much and kind of guided me and showed me what it was like to live in a community where people wasn't always favorable towards you. So I spin it around and I put her on the radio and gave her the dream of her lifetime. So it's women like that, and then people like y'all, just everyday cool women. Just yeah.
Oh, I'm cool.
There's you. All right.
So, but thank you. I do know Anita Hill and your sisters, and they do stick by you, and it's just so good to have that village. And I just want to talk a little bit about my village and the phenomenal women that surrounds me and that holds me up. First off, my mother. I believe that I am who I am because of her. And she didn't leave it up to the church because I was raised in the church. My parents was the mother of the church, the deacon of the church. Really, MJ? My shoulders are not shoulders. My parents was the mother, the deacon, and then the assistant pastor. So, but they took time to, and I would say she took time to literally teach me and show me how to carry myself and how to deal with people. So I think my people skills were cultivated at a very early age because of her. And she laid the foundation. That was my first introduction to Christ and who Christ is and all about Christ. So I'm definitely grateful for that. And then I have my mother-in-law, Pansy, and those that know me know Pansy. And she's always, you may not see her all the time, but she's definitely in the back scenes, always giving words of encouragement, always watching and taking care of us because she's a nurse at heart. She's that nurturer, that provider, and that voice of wisdom for me. So I'm grateful for that, for her. And then my former pastor, who was no longer here, Pastor Janie Davis. I really think about her so much, and all of that she instilled in me. And that was my first introduction to what faith really looks like, and that God can do the impossible. And MJ, I was like, I'm a prayer warrior, and I listen. I don't care how bad things look. I believe that God can turn that thing around in the nick of time. Because that's what I seen growing up. I seen people healed. I seen people delivered. I seen people set free. So all of that have been instilled in me. And, being the woman that God has called me to be, walking upright, being confident, knowing who you are in Christ, regardless of how MJ think I'm dressed tonight. But
right.
Listen, it's embedded in my heart, and one thing I always ask God for, and that's because of the women in my life, is that don't ever let me get comfortable in sin. Don't ever let me not have that heart of conviction, because I want to do right, and that's my goal, to be right and to do right because of the women that have surrounded me. And let's not forget the plethora of women that God has placed in my life over the years, Joy and Ty Live and different ones that have come. Rhonda McFadden, I could just name so many. Wanda D. Ewing. it's so many different women that have affected, positively impacted my life over the years. So it is great homage that we take the time, MJ, just to recognize these phenomenal, impactful women that has really made a mark. And because and we may not reach everybody, but because they made a mark in one person, that one person can make a big impact in somebody else. And it just happens like a chain reaction.
So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and kick this off. Rhonda, before we shoot off questions to you, why don't you tell all of our viewers who Rhonda McFadden is?
Who Rhonda McFadden is. I like to keep it simple and sweet. I'm just an old country black girl from South Carolina, born and raised in a little town called New Zion. Went from there to a little town called Shiloh, and I've been moving and just mixing and moving and all that kind of stuff my entire life. I love God. I'm a person of simplicity. I'm low-key shy with it, but at the same time, you know, there's a boldness that comes out when deemed necessary. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a good church member. I'm just an all-around typical person that just believe in staying humble, believe in always being true to myself, under any circumstance, and just like Lady Dad say, just trying to do right till he comes. And it's just, that's it in a nutshell. I'm a singer songwriter. I don't want to leave that out. Sometimes I'm kind of modest about it, but as time progresses, God is kind of telling me, you know, what I put in you have no reason to be ashamed of. You know, you don't.
That's right.
You know, I'm not in competition with nobody but the person that I look in the mirror at yesterday. That's the only person I'm trying to improve. Is that person? That's the only person that I'm trying to compete with from day to day. You know, what can I do today better than I did on yesterday? So that's my day-to-day identity, if you will. Okay. That's me. That's Rhonda K.
Well, now that we've got a little insight on who Rhonda McFadden is, what does Women's History Month mean to you personally?
Women's History Month means just a whole lot of kind of piggybacking off of what Lady Dad said. It's a momentum time. I feel like there has been a time where they may have set aside, you know, a point in time where we kind of harp on or kind of blow up a particular thing, but without women, what is this world like? What is the continuation of life without women? You know, so we play a very intricate part in society. It means a lot. I mean, my sons tell me daily, I don't know what I would do without you. They're men, they're grown men, you know, and I feel like my place and the lineage in which I came from, I've come from a line of dominant women, and that's good and bad, you know, but from the good aspect of it, I come from a line of dominant women that's all I've ever seen. When it was time to get it, that's who I saw got it. When it was time to pull it out the mud, that's who I had. Those are the hands that I saw that were muddy, you know. So just it's a time to honor contributions, what we contributed to the world in a whole. Like, you think about a whole lot of other Harriet Tubman and going that far back, you know, without these women, like you have to think, where will we be now? I mean, I feel like we've advanced far, and in the same sense, we've kind of gone back. So it's now time that the women of virtue come forth and kind of grab them ones that are kind of straggling and not knowing who they are, why they are that way, and kind of be that light for them, you know. So this time of month, and you don't hear much about it, especially where I'm from. You read about it, but to be honest, I didn't know it was that month. You know, I try to be that person every day, because you never know who's watching. So you just try to keep it up. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's so true. You just never know who's watching, Rhonda,
Yeah.
and I know I'm one that have been watching you from afar for some time. And I remember you releasing your song "Get Up," and I just had to reach out to you because I believe that you had something there to encourage women. So let me ask you this: how do you feel that you have contributed to shaping society in your community, in ministry, in your family?
I would say personally, my resilience, my strength. Uh, just there's an inner beauty. There's a lot of there's a lot of courage um, with the women that I surround myself with on a day to day, and not even the offset, like you in Miami and different ones are here and there. It's like you don't know the part that you play in their lives until they sit down and like, you know what, Lady Des, XYZ, you like me?
Yeah.
When with what I'm going through and with what I've been through, how could I have possibly made that type of impact on you when I was felt like I was in my own darkness? You know what I mean? So it's when I look at my daughters, when I look at my different family members. I had a cousin just recently, and I never knew. And she came to me, she said, and it blew me when I'm humble about it, because I still find myself, okay, God, there's no way she saw that. You know, I dispute it because I'm like, I know my own personal struggles. You know, I
Mhm.
don't, when I look in the mirror, I'm fully aware of who that person is, you know. And she shared some a struggle that she was going through, and the fact that I saw her physically delivered from, like you said earlier, I saw her where God delivered her from the thing, and she just resort back. She said, Ron, a lot of times you think I wasn't watching. It's just some of the simplest things you said. It could have been a text that you sent me that just kind of completely navigated my entire day. And it really kind of put me on a path from that point on to now. And it's like, I thank you. I appreciate you, cuz. And it's just like, really?
Wow.
So you just think about, when I look at my daughter, I often say with my baby girl, I don't want her to have to look outside of my household to find somebody to look up to when I'm standing right here in her face. You know, so if I didn't decide to change my life for no other reason, it was for my girls. You know, my baby, my daughter, my granddaughters, you know, I want them to look at me in a certain light, and not because, oh, that's my mama. My mother has been gone 20 years. And y'all, to listen to other people, and I know what she was to me, but when I hear other people talk about her 20 years later, to the point where they're in tears because of the type of impact that blows me. I'm like,
Yeah.
that you have to be such a caliber of woman to have such an impact on individual, and it's lasting even after you're gone.
So,
Right.
So
Rhonda, with
it's
that being said, in what ways do you think, or have you been told that you've been a role model to others, not just family, but others?
I've been told just my boldness, that I've been told you ain't scared of nothing. You know, you the way you talk, you could go in front of people and just, you know, just talk, and you be so convincing. And I'm like, girl, if you knew how I had to pray them anxieties before I get up there, you wouldn't believe it. Like, ain't no way you scary.
Wow.
So it's like, it's stuff like that. Um, I've been told I have a keen sense of dress. I don't think I'm the best dressed. I do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But it's like, I'm comfortable, and I guess when I am who I am, it's I guess it takes notice. I don't know. I kind of dispute it, but like I said, I'm just kind of modest about it. But outside of me and my boldness and just my love for God and my resilience, people have seen me come through some stuff. Like they've seen it, and now they be like, "Girl, you strong." Like I don't know how. I don't think I would have been able to withstand that, but
And you know,
You
I'm
know,
glad you mentioned that because um, I, since I've been knowing you, have been knowing that you are a very, very strong person. And there was one day, I don't know what was going on, and it didn't matter, but I saw my sister hurting. So I had to reach out to somebody because I didn't have your number. But it was, you know what? We need to check on her because this is not who I know her to be. Something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to ask you how that made you feel because when you know that you got people that are watching you that have your back, how do you feel like your positive influence makes a difference in other people's lives? Or have you even thought about that?
I have. I've thought about that, and I'm careful with it. I'm careful about, sometimes I have humanistic moments.
Right, right.
And I try not to. I'm careful in what I'm more careful now. Let me put it like that, because at one time I didn't care. I'm like, Facebook is what it is, and I want to post it. But I'm careful because I don't want to give off the wrong energy. You know, I don't want to be the cause of someone else not believing or feeling like I don't want to be that person to say, well, if Lady Des can go off, then then they really ain't no hope for me. So it's things I'm careful with how I present myself, and it's not in a sense of falsehood. I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be real with who I am, but I'm gonna be, as the Bible said, be careful for nothing. And
Right.
I
No, go ahead, Rhonda. Finish.
no, and I take that more, I think, more seriously now with my walking in God than I've ever done in my entire life, because of that. Because I don't know who's paying attention.
Right.
I don't know who God has assigned to my hand, and I don't want that blood on me.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that, because that shows a sense of, number one, growth.
Yeah,
And it's not saying that you're trying to fluff it or anything, because we're all human. But
right,
on the flip side of that, we must use wisdom,
right,
because we, number one, we're in a leadership type role, whether it's parenthood, you as a lead singer, whatever the case may be. It shows a sense of leadership and ownership, to where you understand, I must use wisdom, because I have no idea who's watching, who's listening, who's on that verge of just giving it all up, turning it all around, and going back to what I used to be. But when I hear Rhonda, and I see the magnitude of, she's showing her hurt, she's showing her pain. However, she's encouraging and pushing through all at the same time. And MJ, when I came to the studio, MJ was so serious about that. He was like, "We need to call Rhonda." And I didn't see the video at first until he showed it. I believe he showed it to me, and then we said, okay, let's reach out to her. MJ, help me out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like I said, it's like we're all family, and
Right,
to just like you, Des. If I see that there's something troubling you, I don't need to know what it is that's troubling you.
right.
I just need to reach out to you and let you know you ain't alone. I see you, I feel you, and I understand. Especially when you are in a light where other people are looking at you and you decide to be vulnerable. And for that moment, like I said, to know Rhonda, she's always Rhonda. And
Yeah.
for her to be hurting, it's like, my sister's hurting. So if you hurt, I hurt.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. And you said something, and you mentioned one of the women in history. And just to kind of think about it now, MJ, that's who that would be like a, I don't know if should I say comparison, but Harriet Tubman, because she showed a lot of strength. She showed a lot of courage. She was fearless. She
Mm.
was relentless. Let me tell you, she didn't mind going in and doing what she had to do and get out of there. But in the
Yeah.
midst of it all, she was saving the lives of other people,
Yes.
and she did things that others would have been afraid to do. And
Right.
that's what I see in Rhonda. Listen,
Mhm.
like she said, she was raised around dominant women, and a lot of times when you're raised around dominant women, it'll give you a strength like none other. If you
Yeah.
ever met a dominant woman, it's like they're alpha, and they're gonna go at it, and they're gonna go hard, and you can't tell them no different. However, I believe that her growth has really guided her in God and given her wisdom that she is a role model now to her children and to those around her. And Rhonda, go ahead, MJ.
No, I was going to say it's funny that you mentioned wisdom because, another thing we want to know is, Rhonda, how do you intentionally pass down the wisdom or the values to the next generation, your kids, young ladies that are watching, people that are looking up to you?
Pretty much, you know what I do? I have conversations. Like when I talk to like my own children or just like on my job, I'm pretty much one of the older ones in our group. And they look to me as I have this thing. They say, Miss Rhonda, we know when you think and stuff because it's like on your face. Like when you're not so much as in agreement with something or you feeling something, it's like we haven't known you long enough, but your face tells everything. And so they'll come like, what you thinking? I'm like, So when they surround my desk, I feel responsible to make sure that I'm saying something that is going to be beneficial and profitable to them so they can take it and go with it and it won't be I don't find myself in a whole lot of foolishness. So that's not a test. So when I speak to my daughter and I'm always talking about my grandma said this and I remember my grandma said this and I mean my grandma because listen, that was my God before I knew God. That who my God was. That when she spoke to me, it was like golden. And I'm older, and my grandma has been gone for years, but I always reflect back to, my grandmother said this, and my grandma used to tell me this when I was young, and my grandma used to tell me this, and I tell them, and my grandma said, if you take care of your kids, they'll take care of you. My grandmother said, you always keep your living room and your bathroom the cleanest spot and your kitchen the cleanest spot in your house because that's where you entertain people. And ain't nobody, just simple proverbs,
Mm-hmm.
simple proverbs that she used in parables that make sense to me now as an adult and a mother and a grandmother myself. So when I speak to my generation and the younger generation, I spit game as they use the term. I spit pure game to them. Like I don't try to make it look like, oh honey, it is so rosy and no, look at little girl. This is what's gonna happen if you do this. This
Mm-hmm.
is the result of this if you do that. But if you do this, you may not see the fruit of it then, but you have to be consistent. And that's the kind of conversation I have. I give them what was given to me. I wasn't spoon fed. It was almost forced in my face. I wasn't, I didn't get none of that. I got pure raw truth. Whether I liked it, whether I loved it, it didn't matter. It was given to me that way, and I received it, and it's really formed me. Even if I didn't accept it, it was always in here. The Bible said, "Raise up a child in the way that they should go." And when they get old, they won't. I went left, but what was put in me never left. It
Right.
never. So as an adult now, those things come back, and I'll be crazy not to. I'm pouring it into mine. So guess what? When I'm gone, they're gonna say, my grandma said this. And my mom used to say, it's gonna keep. I know it is. It's inevitable. It have to because it's just that strong. So that's what I do. I don't miss the opportunity to pour into somebody. I don't miss the opportunity. If God say go, I'm gone. I'm doing it. It ain't my job to try to figure if you accepted it. While you here, let me take advantage of the moment while I got you. While I have your attention, Let me make good use of it. Do what you want to do it after. So that's my shake on it, you know.
Absolutely. And you know that's good. And even the scripture that you use, because I believe that's what guided you and kept you in
Yeah.
line. And my next question was gonna be to you was how has your
Mm.
faith guided you and just directed you as a leader when you serve others or whatever it is in life? How did your faith guide you?
My faith is the pedestal of my existence. I don't see, because we raised up in church. Um, we had perfect examples. We had all these things. But when I decided to give up the world or follow Christ and do the right thing, uh, it's really changed my sight on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even say, oh, 20. I'm talking about within the last 5 years.
Years.
Like my walk with God has become. I tell my pastor, I don't have to have somebody. I don't have to have surveillance over me. My faith convicts me. I
Mm-hmm.
can park in a handicapped park to get closer to the store, and I'll feel bad and I'll move. It's like I don't want to my it's like I don't know when my time, so I don't want to be in error. Like I try. I'm not perfect. I'm gonna
Right.
mess up. I don't wake up with Jesus on my mind every morning, as Ty Tribbett say. I have to bring my flesh under subjection because it's not gonna go on its own. So I'm consciously aware of who I am. Like my faith is my mirror. Like I have my struggles. I don't hide from them. Do I have to expose them to the world? No, but I'm realistic. It keeps me alive. It lets me know, hey, don't be so quick to judge. Don't be so quick to try to put somebody down. Cause hey, do I need to take you back a little bit? So
Right.
my faith alone, my circle of people, my church family, uh, my aunts, it's just I have a lot of faith-based people that I surround myself with that makes me accountable, that keeps me accountable. And accountability is everything. If you don't have no accountability friends that'll make you like, hey, you wrong for that. You shouldn't have handled that like that. Then it's almost useless. But I'm grateful for my camp. I'm thankful for my camp, my faith-based camp. And that keeps me. My faith keeps me. It keeps me
Mm-hmm.
aware. It keeps me
And
aware.
with that, Rhonda, with you being so strong of a believer in faith, what advice would you give to young women who are called into ministry to serve?
Mm. Be sure that you're called, for one. Um, many are called, but few are chosen. Be sure that you are called. Don't just, I just feel like I want to be an evangelist. That God called you to that. So if I had to speak to a congregation of young women, I would have to share my own experiences and let them know I'm a single mother. I've raised children. I've had children out of wedlock. I would have to expose myself in a sense of letting you know, because they did it. I've had a girl, well, y'all did it. Well, exactly. So look at me. Don't look at the now, but I can tell you the between then and now, it's some ugly spots. So I
Right.
would tell them, keep yourself, respect yourself, love you, love God. Don't be anxious. Don't be too thirsty. Don't put yourself out there to be disrespected. We want so much respect, but people, men, and no offense to you, MJ, but I've learned men to the point where, because in the society that we have now, it's like it's a drought. So I would tell Eddie, like, look, seek ye first the kingdom of God. Look, see what God wants for your life, because it's more than what you don't settle. Don't settle for just anything. Establish yourself, and what is supposed to be will be, and it's in nothing, and there's nothing that will stop that. So I will more so push the narrative of self-love, self-care, God love, knowing that God loves you right where you are, and loves you enough that if you're not where you're supposed to be, he loves you to bring you where you need to go. So it's real simple. I've seen people where they make it more difficult and more complicated than it has to be. No, it's not that complicated. You don't have to come perfect. Nobody is. There's no perfect being. There's only been one. You can't even be that good. You're not that. Don't get so zealous with your being beautified on the outside and you're deteriorating on the inside. Let's work inside out. So it's just simple. Love yourself, love God, love the people that love you, pray for them that don't. Respect yourself, hold yourself up in a certain light, set boundaries for yourself, respect your own boundaries, and stand on it. Don't let anyone come and trick you out of your place, and just adorn yourself in modern, and just when you walk out in the street, folks will respect you. I got a past too, but I tell people, go back and talk to my past. They'll tell you who I am. I ain't ashamed of my past, and they'll tell you, hey, that mess up because of me. It had nothing to do with her. Just so it's your reputation means a lot. So if you don't want that, then as a young person, don't create something. Don't mess up the young you that the old you is going to have to recover. Do it good now. When you get older, you can sit back and chill. So that's
good advice. That's definitely good advice, Rhonda. And I thank you so much for being a voice in your community, in your family, in your ministry, because it's people like you, it's women like you that needs to hear your story, the challenges, and you don't mind being real. And I think that's what causes people to gravitate and women to gravitate, because sometimes they look at us now and they don't know what it took for us to get to where we are in our journey, and not knowing that they can make it through too. So I thank you for your transparency. I thank you for your resilience and your boldness, because there's so many that has a story, that has challenges, and it has a testimony, and they are still afraid to tell it. And you said best, hey, listen, ask my past, ask me. I'm not afraid to tell it, because I say this all the time. When you tell your own story, there's nothing nobody can hang over you.
Nothing.
There's nobody can blackmail you. Nobody can go talking, because it kills it right then and there. I already know about that. She told her own story. Mm-hmm. So I encourage you to continue telling your story, and thank you so much for shedding light and sharing your story and your experiences with us tonight. MJ, I think we're going to segue into Rhonda's single. And she said it at the beginning. She is a dynamic and, quote unquote, I don't mean no harm, she is a beast at what she does. At singing, lead singing, and it's not just limited to quartet music. She can sing all sorts of genres. She is just a all around great artist and songwriter. So tell us about this new single that you released called "Get Up" and how that has impacted women and the lives of so many all over.
Oh man, listen. I would lie and say I'm not surprised, but I'm still surprised, because I know what God told me in regards to just that one song, "Get Up." That song was birthed from a place of darkness, and I'll tell this story until my tongue it cleaves to the roof of my mouth. When God penned that song, I just lost my mom. My mom just had transitioned 2005. And honey, I was in a dark, I'm talking about almost forgot I had kids. Like I'm done. I'm done. And God just, he wrote that song. He literally wrote that song. And I held that song until 2021.
Wow.
That's when it was officially released. That song was written in 2005. And I didn't record it until 2021 when the release came out. And since that time, I've gotten so many inboxes and so many testimonies on that song, and it's unbelievable. And I've had a guy, not just women, just men as well. And one guy was like, I was going through something, and I'll hit my playlist, and your song popped up. And he said, let me tell you something. That song right there ministered to me as if you were sitting beside me. And that 3 to 4 minutes just completely turned my life around. And I get stories like that. And I know it has nothing to do with, because it ain't one of those, it ain't none of that. It ain't none of that. And I thank God, because it is different. And it's not a song that you can put in a box. Like, you can play it. It's a song of message. It's a message, So that particular project is still working. It's still working the four corners of the earth. I'm decreeing that now. It's still going, and it's still reaching places, and it's still reaching homes, and it's still reaching. I don't care about the stellars. I don't care about and I'm being honest about the overall acknowledgement of it, you know what I mean? But when I can get random inboxes to hear what it's done for them spiritually, honey, that's my reward. That's my reward. It was never made for money. It was never made because, I think it was never made for that. Those songs minister to me. Like I those songs minister to my own spirit. So if it does for me what it did for me, I expect for it to do the same. And that's the message that I tell people. I hope it does for you what it did for me. And if it does for you what it did for me, oh baby, you getting up.
Come on.
You getting up. Oh, you gonna get up. You ain't gonna have no choice. I don't care how long you've been there. I don't care how long how low you've gotten. You gonna get up. Cause love gonna bring you up. And you got to try Jesus, and it's a melting pot. You will, at the end of the day, you gonna look back and say, you know what? I've been down too long, and I gotta get up. So hey, that it makes me happy just talking about it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
well, we're definitely gonna check that song out. But before we do, Rhonda, I want you to tell everybody where they can keep up with you via social media, how they can follow you, all that good stuff.
Okay, so we do have a Facebook page. I have my personal Facebook page, but I'm going to work the actual group. I say group, but it's it's RKM and Family, at RKM and Family. That's the Facebook page. It's a lot be going on there. You can go on YouTube under my name, Rhonda K. McFadden. You'll see the picture of my CD. Just follow. I tell people you go on all digital platforms, all of them, because we know how the music goes now. You have to run those numbers up. Run them up, people. Run them up. And just support wherever you can. Play it, let it continue to minister to you. But Facebook, YouTube, we're out there. The music is out there for your enjoyment, and I pray that's what it does for you.
Absolutely. Yes. And you know what? Before we close out, MJ, we have some people that are in the chat that has been saying hello. Can you acknowledge them for us, please, MJ?
It would have been nice if I was able to see them.
Oh wow. So let me hold on. Let me go to
No, I'm there. Hold on. I just got there. So we got Rhonda Sheffield who says hello. We got Glenn Payne, Deacon Joe Riley, the mayor of Quartet, who says,
hello.
I love that song. It's a very real song with true meaning.
Wait, hold
Yes.
on, MJ. Let's pause right there because I believe you interviewed on the Quartet Corner
Mhm.
and and Mr. Riley played that song. Listen, those numbers went out the roof. It
Yes, they
was
did.
yeah, yeah. How she's like run them numbers up. He started playing. Rhonda was talking, and those numbers started just like literally while we were on the live was just going up. People were giving feedback. It was just awesome.
It really was. Great experience. It was a good
Yes.
experience.
And hello to Ty Live. I see Ty. It may be a Maria. Yeah, because she said Auntie and Uncle MJ. Hi. So
Okay, so
hello,
yeah, that's Amaria.
you. Yes, Ty Live. Our great dear sister is on. Who else I'm seeing too? Cynthia Caesar. Thank you so much for watching.
That's
We
my
appreciate.
cousin. My
That's your cousin.
brother's on there too.
All right.
You
Let's
see Bert Mako, that's my brother.
Bert
Okay.
McKell. Hello, hello. Thank you all so much. Glenn Payne, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you all. Did I miss anybody? MJ, you got it?
I think that was it. I think we got everybody that made a comment.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Perfect. So listen, we want to end with Get Up. But let's go back to Rhonda. I know she talked about the song. So Rhonda, just formally introduce your song to everybody. And right before we do that, MJ, let's just sign out because once Rhonda introduces her song, they will no longer see us.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, family, as always, we definitely appreciate you joining conversations with them to the Shenanigan crew. I am MJ. She is.
Lady Des.
We do this each and every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. We want to say a very special thank you to our special guest tonight, Rhonda K. McFadden. And listen, family, the new music is coming up. It's coming up. So stay right there. But
Stay
listen,
there.
wherever you get your digitally downloaded music, the name of the song is Get Up.
Get
Rhonda,
up.
it's all yours.
Listen, get up. Listen, the Bible says that though a just man falls 7 times, he gets up. Get that song, let it play, let it minister your spirit, because if you hold on and hang in there, you will get up. Anyone who wants to get up never stays down long. Y'all be blessed. Thank you for having me, and I love y'all.
Thank you,
We love you
Rhonda.
too.
Contemplating and hesitation makes life seem so hard. Looking from where I'm standing, my breakthrough seems afar. But I can remember my mama said, trouble don't last always. Anyone who wants